relive your memory. If I could turn back time, I would rewind till you came back to me. We could fall together.
Needs a password. Hello everyone. I'll just give everyone a second to sit down and we'll get started here. Ready? Good afternoon everyone, family, friends, and co-workers of Kurtis's. My name is Devin Lewis. I've been lucky enough to call myself Kurt's best man and partner in crime for about 15 years. On behalf of the family, I'd like to thank everyone for coming today, whether it be in person or online. Kurtis Mitchell Gunter was born April 2nd, 1987, to Catherine Mary Brown Gunter and Lauren Mitchell Gunter. Kurtis was born in Saskatoon. He lived in Melfort and then moved to Saskatoon. Kurtis had a blended family. His mom Kathy and stepdad Merv, along with siblings Barb, Brad, and Brent. His dad Mitch and stepmom Sharon, along with siblings Ray and Jana. Kurtis was a very active and curious child, always into something, jumping from bunk beds to dressers. Kurtis spent time between both family homes. He would spend time in Prince Albert and Edmonton with his dad and Sharon. He loved hunting and fishing expeditions with his dad. Kurtis grew up between home and Waskesiu every summer, which he loved. Kathy and Merv owned the movie theater as well as the candy store in Waskesiu. He loved everything about the lake, everything. Sneaking out to watch movies, hanging out with friends. He loved being the projectionist, running the theater with his family. His superpower was falling asleep in a movie theater any time of day or night. Kurtis was a very playful and fun person, very intelligent. He was kind and generous. He gave whenever he asked. He was a sincere person and meant what he said. He enjoyed all kinds of space, crime, and historic documentaries. He was a person who believed in science. He also really enjoyed video games. Kurtis was a lineman through and through. Being a lineman was his pride and joy. He received many power line certificates and was a really hard but safe crew lead. He enjoyed the thrill of riding on the side of a helicopter or riding in a cart across a span of towers or climbing to the top of a tower. It gave him a sense of peace. He would say that feeling on top of a tower is like no other feeling. He just felt free. In 2012, Kurt met Jamie and they began their love story. 2015, they were engaged and marriage followed in 2016. They had a lot of adventures and did some traveling during this time. In 2017, Kurtis lost his mom to cancer, Kathy. Jamie and Kurtis had been running the theater and candy store during this time. 2018, a precious package was delivered by the name of Luca. Kurtis was smitten. Kurtis held the boys first and created a super strong bond. 2019 came the second precious delivery by the name of Zayden. And again, he was twice smitten. Kurtis adored his boys. He was a very playful, fun dad. The boys loved wrestling and being thrown up in the air, building forts and driving in Dad's truck. Right, buddy? Yeah? Kurtis will be missed. He was a loving husband, father, son, grandson, and a friend. The family would like to express their appreciation for this outpouring of love and support during this difficult time. At this point, I'm going to ask a couple of Kurt's friends and co-workers to come up and speak. Two of them, and after we'll open the mic to anyone else who might like to share a story or a memory with Kurt. Jared?
Excuse me. Thank you for coming here today. My name is Jared Pearson. I was a groomsman at Kurtis's wedding. I first met Kurtis Gunter in Fort Assiniboine, Alberta, working for RS Line. His father, Mitch, had been my first foreman. Kurtis and I were on a distribution crew run by a great old foreman named Butch Walker with a bunch of other young guys. We were a bunch of punks who didn't know a power pole from a stripper pole. All competition and no experience, but Butch trained us up. At 65 years old, he would still throw his hooks on because we had no idea what we were doing. When Butch had to hike a pole to save you, the torment would never end. Kurtis and I worked together for years in Barhead. At one point, we were sharing a room 3 deep, Kurtis, Brad, Stubing, and I. We built miles of line around Barhead together, doing 3-phase and underground taps and transformers. We learned how to frame, to string wire, and how to operate equipment, all under Butch. Kurtis stood out as a great climber, a natural lineman, and his laugh would turn every head in the room when you took him out in public. When my wife Jenny and I bought our first house in Olds, Alberta, and before we had our child, Kurtis rented our spare room. If our days off fell on the same day, we would go buy a feast to cook, and refreshments were inevitably served. Whether it was spending an afternoon cooking crab's legs and shrimp, or slow cooking ribs, if you bought the food, he bought the booze. Pretty much the ideal roommate. Gone 3 weeks a month, and buying food when he was there. One time, Kurtis went out for a smoke and lit the barbecue, thinking he'd start dinner. When he got back in, our video game had finished downloading. We started playing and he forgot about the barbecue. A couple hours later, he went out for another dart, just in time to see our vinyl siding curl like bacon in a pan, melted by the now glowing barbecue. The barbecue was toast. We ordered pizza and he replaced the barbecue. His Coke bottle glasses were so thick, I used to joke that he would be able to see the future. No one saw this. Kurtis had a quick wit, an awesome sense of humor, and half-assed nothing in his life. After those days in Olds, we kept in touch over the phone, and I would call him on go-home day drives. We would talk work for 5 minutes and life for 25. He loved having kids, Luca and Zayden, and when I first met his wife Jamie, she instantly felt like family. When my daughter Emmy was small, Jenny and I took her to Waskesiu, Saskatchewan to see Kurtis and where he grew up. His mom owned a candy and gift shop, and Kurtis took us there. He was showing Emmy around and her eyes were huge because she was young, and I'm not sure she'd ever been in a store that cool. She picked up a stuffed My Little Pony toy and admired it, then put it back. When she wandered on, Kurtis grabbed it off the shelf and handed it to Jenny with a nod. It was coming home with us. Emmy still has it. That was the type of guy Kurtis was. Would give you the shirt off his back. Now that I think about it, I might have just told a story about Kurtis stealing from his mom's candy store. I'm pretty sure he and Jamie were running it by that time anyways. I love that little guy. He was family. I don't know how so much personality got crammed in such a little package. I'll miss you, Gunter. Banksy, a street artist, said, "They say you died twice. One time when you stop breathing, and a second time a bit later on when someone says your name for the last time. As linemen, we have a tradition where you get a memorial sticker made to remember the guys you worked with. I had some made for Kurtis. If you guys want some for your cruise, take what you need. I'll hand them out in 10s or 1s or whatever works best. If we need more, I'll get more made. Kurtis has died the first death, but I won't let him die that second one for a long time. Thank you.
No, you're silly.
So just want to introduce myself. I'm Matt Rushby. I grew up with Kurtis at Waskesiu. So I first met Kurtis at Waskesiu. I worked for his dad Merv and stepdad Merv and his mom Kathy at Twin Pines Cinemas. I remember Merv, the first time I ever mopped the floor at Twin Pines Cinemas. He kind of tore a strip into me. But after that, I was definitely a good mopper. And I remember, so we also used to deliver at the Star Phoenix, so Kathy used to cash us out. And I remember before the first cash out, Kurt said to me, he said, "You better learn how to count real quick or she'll tear a strip right out of you." And by the end of that first cash out, I was basically an accountant. Waskesiu was such a special place for Kurt. Every summer we used to go up there. I used to go up there for 2 months every summer. Watch movies, hang out, go fishing, all that good stuff. I remember one time we were all in the camp kitchen having a fire, and there was a cat stuck up on the roof of the camp kitchen. Before I even knew what was going on, Kurt scaled that camp kitchen, got the cat down before I even realized, and the rest was history. We named him Freddie. He hung out with us for a bit, and then I never saw him again. Yeah, I just want to say, growing up with Kurt, Waskesiu was such a pleasure, and hanging out at the theater with all the guys and everyone here that might know. But I just want to say thank you, and you'll be missed, Kurt.
At this point, we'll open up the mic to anyone who might want to say a few words. You got anything to say? You want to say hi to everyone? Hi! That's right.
I'll keep it easy. I'm too short. That's good. Yeah, that's fine. I'm Christina Yost. I was a bridesmaid in Kurtis. I call him Flirty. And the reason why we called him Flirty, as in their wedding, basically, Jamie and I worked together a really long time ago, and she was really shy. It was funny, I was talking to Denise about this. I forced Jamie to be my friend, whether she liked it or not. And she went out with some friends to a pub, and there was a guy there. It was Kurtis. And it was just really funny. She was like smitten the first night she met him. She was texting me when they were out at the pub, and she's like, "Oh, this guy, you know, I'm trying to talk to him, and he's so hot." And, and then all of a sudden it was like radio silence, and I was like wondering, like, how did this, you know, group hangout / date go? Like, what happened? I want to know the details. And she walks into work all slyly with a grin on her face. And I was like, "Is that good, hey?" And she was like, "Yeah, we hung out more, and like I really like him." And then, yeah, just from there they dated and fell in love, and they got married. And yeah, I always called him Flirty because ever since that night he hooked her right on the first night, and she fell in love with him, and it was just so sweet. And then when Tyler, my husband, and I got married, it was so nice. Kurtis is like the most just kind person. We were pretty overwhelmed with decorating and setting everything up, and obviously maybe because Kurtis is a linesman, he just like started picking everything up and hauling it in the hall, and he's like, we're gonna do this and we'll hang these here. And it was funny, Ty's dad said, like, who is this guy? He's just like so helpful and he's the kindest guy ever. And we're like, oh, that's Flirty. And he was just like the first person to always like give whatever you needed. He would always help you with whatever. And it was funny, we didn't even like plan who was gonna play the music for our wedding when we walked up the aisle. Big mistake on our part. And all of a sudden we were like almost ready to walk up the aisle and we didn't have anyone to run the music. And well, Flirty, you're up, you're running the music. And he's like, don't worry, I got this. And he's like, but like, what am I actually doing? Like, do I have a sound system? We're like, you have a DeWalt radio and you have an iPhone. You're good to go. And he's like, okay, I'll make it happen. And yeah, he did like an actual amazing job. Yes, he did so awesome. But yeah, all I wanted to say was just like, Kurtis was like the kindest soul ever. And like anytime even Jamie and I, we'd hang out in their old condo, he would be like, I'll give you guys your girl time. And he would like close the doors and he would play, like he would be gaming in the other room. And he was just always like the first person to be like, oh, do you need a drink or do you need this and that? And like, okay, I'll leave you guys alone for your girl stuff. And it was funny because we used to always tease Kurtis because he loves designer clothes. Like, I don't know if people know that, but like he had the most expensive wardrobe, like way more than other people. And he would like walk in, I'd be like, is that another new pair of pants? And he would just be like sheepishly like, well, yeah, but like, and he'd always have new shirts and like name brand everything. It was so funny because he always had their master walk-in closet at the condo. Jamie's clothes was literally like this much space. And Kurtis was the whole entire like rest of the closet, like 75% of the closet. You'd think it was the other way around. But yeah, he loved like designer clothes so much. He was such a first class guy. But anyways, I just want to tell a couple funny stories what we loved about him, and the fact that when I will miss his laugh so much, and the fact that he would always like bend backwards a little bit when he was laughing and close his eyes, and it was just like, that's one thing that I'll always remember about him. And we just love Kurtis so much.
It's right here.
Do you want to pull it down?
I don't think he's tall enough. Here. Grandma left the cane for you to.
So many wires flying on the ground. The sun is going down this worried little town. He's the man that puts his life on the line. He is the man we are time after time. Through the rain, sleet, and snow, he's ready to climb the pole. He's the man everybody calls the line. He leaves his home to face danger on the line. Always knowing he may not come back this time. There's a family that waits for him back home. Praying he'll return so they're not left alone. He's the man that puts his life on the line. He is the man we call time after time. Through the rain, sleet, and snow, he's ready to climb the pole. He's the man everybody calls the line. Loving can hurt. Loving can hurt sometimes. But it's the only thing that I know. When it gets hard, you know it can get hard sometimes. It is the only thing that makes us feel alive. We keep this love in a photograph. We make these memories for ourselves, where our eyes are never closing, our hearts are never broken, and time's forever frozen still. So you can keep me inside the pocket of your ripped jeans, holding me close until our eyes meet. You won't ever be alone. Wait for me to come home. Loving can heal. Loving can mend your soul. And it's the only thing that I know. I swear it will be easier. When I've been peaceful. It's the only thing. With us when we die. Keep this love in a photograph. We make these memories for ourselves, where our eyes are never closing, our hearts were never breaking, time's forever frozen still. So you can keep me inside the pocket of your ripped jeans, holding me close until our eyes meet. You won't ever be alone. And if you hurt me, it's okay, baby. Tell me what's me inside the pages. Just hold me. I won't ever street, hearing you whisper through the phone. Wait for me to come home. It's been a long day without you, my friend. And I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. We've come a long way from where we began. Oh, I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. When I see you again. Damn, who knew? All the planes we flew, good things we've been through. That I'll be standing right here talking to you about another path. I know we love to hit the road and laugh, but something told me that it wouldn't last. Had to switch up, look at things different, see the bigger picture. Those were the days, hard work forever pays.
jumping on him. Did you jump on his tummy?
Till you have a boy, he's gonna know it all. He'll think he's 10 feet tall, run like he's bulletproof, and total a car or two.
Oh, I had that one.
Did you have that one?
Mm-hmm.
Who's sitting on ground?
That was nice.
Very nice. Yeah, very well done.
Oh, I gotta see some pictures. I was going to see pictures. Very soon.
At this point, we'd just like to have a moment of silence and think about Kurtis, please.
Didn't. That's it.
Thank you. That about wraps things up, guys. Sorry, one more thing.
Okay.
Thanks. Definitely wasn't sure if I'd be able to say anything, but I just want to thank everybody for coming and all the support through all the messages and the GoFundMe and people traveling to come here. I just really want you to know that I super appreciate it. And I just want to say, especially to the men out there and the linemen, and I know that it's just as hard on the family as it is on you to be gone and working the whole time. Just make sure you check on each other. Make sure you're honest with your wives and yourself and that you're doing okay, because I know it's a struggle. I know it's so hard to be away. So just make sure you're being real with each other, because I just want everyone to be okay, and just make sure you just love one another a little bit more today for me. And just thank you again for coming.
Hi, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Stephanie Reichen-Weinrau. I am Brent's wife. I just wanted to say a little bit about Kurtis. When Brent and I actually first started dating, to my recollection, the first family member that I met was Kurtis and Jamie. And I remember going over to their condo, and I think Brent kind of warned me. He was just like, just so you know, my brother's really loud, and he just, says it like it is. And I was like, okay, whatever. And I'm pretty sure when we walked in, he started telling me, he was already a few beers in, how crazy his one eye gets when he started drinking. I was like, okay, cool. One thing that I would really like to say is, I have tagged him on Facebook in it, but his kiss to Brent stole the show at our wedding. It does not compare to any of the kisses that Brent and I exchanged. And I'm glad if anyone was to steal the show at my wedding, it was Kurtis. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Just so everyone knows, there is a luncheon to follow here, and we'd like to welcome everyone to stick around and visit and share some stories. Thank you.
We wanted to say thank you too.
Say thank you.
Dada.
Yeah, yeah.